There we go. Right. So we are recording. Right. We are live. It is Wednesday, the 15th of July, and this is the monthly IAB coffee morning. So I'm delighted to see everybody here. I'm looking forward to this morning's call. We have three speakers, actually. So it's a bit of a jam-packed morning. But before we go into that, I just want to also just give a general update to what's happening in the world. So today, the UK-India free trade agreement comes into force. And what's very important for us is that obviously the IAB offers qualifications in the outsourcing sector in India. Now, we brokered a tri-party agreement with the Indian government back in 2024. So our qualifications that are delivered in India are actually funded by the Indian government. Um, so I suppose it's just absolutely fantastic that I suppose we were part of that pre-free trade agreement, which actually probably contributed to the agreement going through. So I'm really, really proud of the work that the IAB has done in that respect. But also our graduates now are in the finance sector, and those graduates that are coming through now will be well positioned to be able to underpin the work that will be undertaken now as trade obviously grows through two countries. Sorry, Mariska, are you able to mute people? Thank you. So just a little bit of background. I just thought people just be aware of that. I was speaking in the House of Lords on Monday, actually regarding that too. So we've got I've written about that on LinkedIn if you want to go and read about that. Anyway, on to today. So first of all, I would like to introduce Damien Cummings. He is the awards director of the SME Business Awards. Now, the reason Damien is here today is that the IAB is sponsoring the London Chamber of Commerce and Industries Awards in February. We are headline sponsors with HSBC. We have categories themselves. Sorry, and now the doctor's But I'm going to hand over to Damien, who will be able to talk you through the application progress and all about the awards. So over to you, Damien.
Thank you, Sarah. And thank you for inviting me along today. I just can't get over the number of people that you can get to a coffee morning. Fantastic. Well done. Here at the SME Business Awards, we're absolutely delighted that IAB are a headline sponsor and a very important headline sponsor for us, because apart from you being bookkeepers and accountants who can enter in your own right, equally your clients can enter, and you're probably the best placed people to know who are the better businesses among your clients, and sometimes they need a little nudge or they don't even realize how it's good for business. But we like to say from a marketing perspective alone, it is just so worth entering awards. If you are entering the SME London Business Awards, or if you feel you can't enter the London Business Awards because you're outside or it's not something you particularly want to do, we also have national awards. So we'll send details over to you about that. But going back to the marketing, the most impressive statistic I have seen from awards are that 82% of decision makers will choose an award-winning company over a competitor when they're looking for a new service or a new business. And if that's not a good enough reason to enter, I really don't know what is. The interesting thing with our awards, and this will probably bring a smile to some of your faces, where everybody goes wrong is in the generic information at the start, and it's to do with turnover, profit, and the amount of employees. So we have seen an entry where somebody turned over £20,000, but they had 80 employees. Well, I wouldn't like to be on their wage packet. Everyone goes wrong because everyone's rushing to try and get through to the actual questions that are on the application form. And so they very quickly go through. I was looking at some of the entries in the local awards just last week, And the amount of people who put down the wrong year that they started the business, one of them hadn't even started yet, but they've been trading 25 years. And the judges can only go by what you tell them. And everything is so easy to check. So please make sure that you take the time out just to get those details that we all know so well and make sure that they're checked. As you can imagine, with anything, like when you're showing your accounts, everything should be nice and easy to read. Bullet points, judges love bullet points. They love graphs. They love the visuals. If you can imagine a judge is sitting down to go through 30 odd applications, that takes an awful lot of time. And the surprising thing about judging is they only spend an average of 10 minutes judging any single application. However, if your application stands out, they will spend a lot more time. So they'll have a quick look at it, and then if it interests them, they will go back into it. So things like attachments are great. If you can put a little video together, that's also great. These days, you can do it on your own phone, and the software is everywhere. It doesn't need to be expensive. It doesn't need to be sophisticated. But you want to draw a picture about your business in order to, sort of respect the judge and get their attention. Spelling, grammar, things that lots of us sort of take for granted, especially when you're rushing. And if you're using a spell check, please use an English one, not an American one. It's very easy to annoy a judge who's 25 applications into 30, and they just, if you don't take them serious, they're not going to take you seriously. An interesting one, of course, that's coming up at the moment is AI. Personally, I don't see a problem with AI for the basic information you want to put together, but go back into it, look at it, change it, bring it up to date. Again, in awards we were judging just a couple of weeks ago, the same phraseology was on 3 completely different applicants. So they were clearly just pressing the AI button and off it went. And each of the 3 of them said the exact same. Again, award writers, lots of people don't know that there are award writers out there. If you got an electrical fault, you called an electrician. Plumbing, you call a plumber. If writing's not your thing, if presenting's not your thing, do engage with an award writer. They will see things in your business that you don't normally see as important yourself. If you're looking for an award writer, we can recommend 2 or 3 to you. We'd never recommend just one, but we'd say go to each of them, have a chat with them. Make sure you get a price from them up front. They vary tremendously in what they charge. But if you haven't got the time or it's not your thing, please do consider using an award writer. Going back to your own clients. So first of all, what we need to do, I think there's 233 of you today online. So we'd like to see 233 entries if we could. That would be brilliant if you all entered. However, make sure that your clients as well enter. And I would say that for any awards that are out there, not just these awards. The SME London Business Awards are unique in that we are the only awards that you can go through. If you win in London, you go through to the SME National Business Awards automatically. Anyone who doesn't go through the county system, they have to go through 2 sets of judging. And I must say the majority do not get through. So it's a great way to get to a national finals very, very easily. Again, some of you may not want to go to the nationals. It might be just something that you want the accolades, you want the kudos locally, and that's absolutely fine. There's no pressure whatsoever. So if you just want the local acknowledgement, that's great. If you haven't entered any awards before, I would suggest that you treat it like a mock exam. Nobody knows that you've entered. Just go for it. See what it's like. And you'll find just by going through the process, you will look at things in the business that you don't normally look at. It's not onerous in terms of time. We know some people spend around 2 to 4 hours in an entry. Others can spend a lot more time. But if you're organized and you can find all those files easily and you can get your videos and photographs, the application isn't that difficult. Generic information is the same on each of them. You can enter up to 3 categories. And what's worth looking at is, I would say, go for the category you think that you would win in, or you would do really well in, and then think a little bit outside the box and go for one that you wouldn't normally think of going for. And it's actually turns out that most people win in the category they're not expecting. And that's why it's worth going into the different categories. And with our judging system, there's up to 4 judges on every single category, and there's over 20 categories, which means you're actually presenting to different judges. So it's where perhaps one set of judges might mark you down. On the other category, you might find that they will mark you up. I think, and I am absolutely biased, that business awards are the best way to promote your business. And again, just to finish off, I'm delighted that the IAB have joined with the London Chamber of Commerce, who you work closely with already. And if you've any questions, Art, if you go onto our website, one of our team is there during working hours, and they'll always answer any question. Even if you're not sure what category to enter, you can talk to one of our team, and after 2 or 3 minutes, you explaining what you do and where you are, they'll probably go onto the website as they're speaking to you, and they will give you guidelines on what categories they think you should enter. Sarah, I hope I've covered enough there, but happy to take any questions if the time is there.
Okay, amazing. Thank you ever so much. So just for everyone's information, if you like, we have now partnered with the London Chamber, as I think everyone's aware now. So these awards will replace the awards that we used to hold annually at the House of Lords. So we are upping the bar, and we are now we're joining forces with the London Chamber, but you'll still have the same opportunity. In fact, it's a greater opportunity, as Damien's just described. So I really, really would welcome you all to make an application. We'll be sending more information about how to apply online, but the how to apply is all in this quarter's magazine as well. So that's all being sent out, so you can find further details there at the moment. And the awards themselves are on the 25th of February 2027. It's the first time I've said that out loud. Okay, so thank you very much. But yeah, so watch your space. We'll be promoting this much more in the coming weeks.
Lovely, thank you.
Thank you, Damien. I'll let you go if that's
brilliant.
Right. Thank you.
Have a good morning, everyone. Take care.
Thank you. So now on to Xero. So we have Anna Taroska, who's a partner consultant at Xero. So Anna brings over 5 years of experience from Xero, where she specializes in guiding accounting and bookkeeping partners through seamless digital transformations. As a proud IB member and a passionate advocate for tech-driven productivity, she focuses on helping firms integrate smart solutions to eliminate inefficiencies, streamline workflows, and scale their practices. When she's off the clock, Anna channels her energy into her love for dogs and long walks, finding her balance out in nature. So, Anna, over to you.
Thank you very much, Sarah, for this lovely introduction. And you got my name very well as well. So I've just shared my screen. Can everyone see that? Can you see my screen? Sorry.
Yes, that's good.
Yeah.
Yes.
Brilliant. Yeah. Thank you so much. So hello, everyone. I'm very grateful to be here today with you all. And thank you very much for coming to the call and spending that hour with us. I know how time is very precious in the practice, as I came from practice myself before I joined Xero. Before I go into my session, I just want to go back to what Damien said, because those stats of 82% of clients choosing their company that has got an award is magnificent. And it got me thinking how I choose services when I'm looking for them online. And I must say that when the company has got award attached to it, I do feel like there is much more trust in that company that I've got straight away. And what makes me even more happy is that Xero is multi-award company, and there is definitely more to come as well. However, for today, we are going to be talking about something that sits right at the heart of the practice life. So how do you get cleaner data in, move faster through routine work, and stay in control? Because let's be honest, none of us became an accountant and bookkeeper so that we can chase late receipts, 3 months old receipts on a Friday afternoon. Oh, apologies, I just need to click on my slides. So what's on today's agenda? So first I will talk you through the blueprint. The goal today is simple: less admin, cleaner records, and faster workflow, and an end-to-end system that works whilst you sleep. Then we will look at what we can do with that data once it's swiftly reconciled and complete. How we can leverage the real-time information and support our clients in continuing growing their businesses. Please put questions in a chat box throughout the session. If we've got time, I'm more than happy to answer those on the go. So, Damon mentioned AI. Well, the pressure is more than ever on your practice. Your clients want cash flow forecasts, real-time books, and proactive advice, not just the year-end reports. Meanwhile, data entry, reconciliation, and chasing documents are most likely still eating the hours that should go toward the work that actually grows your business. And now AI is everywhere. Your clients are using it, your competitors are talking about it, and you're probably wondering, is this real or is it just a noise? Is it here to stay? What if it gets something wrong? What about my professional responsibility? And these are all valid questions to ask. And it's why Xero's approach to AI has a name: accountable intelligence. It means 4 things. The AI is transparent. You can see its reasoning, you can review every reconciliation, and you can undo it. It's human in control. Nothing gets committed without your sign-off. It's grounded in real data, not guesswork, always pulled from your live Xero ledger, and every action is logged and traceable. And your data stays yours. It's yours, it stays yours, and it's never used to train any AI model. So here's the guardrail that matters the most. Whilst Jax, your AI finance partner, language is flexible, the underlying financial numbers are always pulled directly from your live Xero data. The AI can change how it speaks. It cannot change the data it retrieves. So when Damien mentioned about those 3 applications that were completed using AI and the 3 were the same, this is not something that will happen in Xero. And Xero's AI set is a set of not disconnected bolt-on tools. It's one connected system. And the blueprint, which you can use whether you are in the larger practice or smaller firm or working independently, that I'm going to talk about today, will demonstrate just that. So here's the blueprint. First, clean input. Get the data in cleanly from the start. 2, connected work. Connect that data to the work already happening in Xero. And finally, smart automation. Let automation handle the routine, repetitive tasks while you stay firmly in control. It's not just new features we're talking about here. It is the accountable intelligence. AI that shows its work, keeps you in control, and handles the follow-through. So let's start at the front door. If the data comes in messy, everything after that gets slower, harder, and more expensive. And we definitely don't want that. We call this data debt. It's just the little bits of bookkeeping mess that pile up over time. late receipts, missing paperwork, rekeying the same data twice, and records that are there but not clean enough to trust. The problem is that once this debt starts building, it spreads and slows down your entire workflow. Instead, what we want is simple, clean data. We get the source documents in once, reduce rekeying and document chasing. This will help build a cleaner record from the beginning and set up faster downstream workflows. In other words, making it much easier to keep the books current, support the right VAT treatment, and stay closer to MTD ready all year around. This is not just about tidiness. It's about having better records, less scramble, and more confidence. So here are some impressive stats that we are supporting whilst we're moving through clean data. 94% of accountants and bookkeepers using Xero save time by reducing manual data entry. And what we are about to look directly supports that time saved. So let's start at the front door. We call this clean input. We've all seen the impact of the data debt, late receipts, missing paperwork, and endless rekeying. Smart data capture ends the chase by using email, the Xero mobile app, or direct upload. Your data arrives in Xero clearly extracted and ready for review. And when the document doesn't arrive, JAX can chase it automatically. Yes, you've heard me right. JAX will chase out automatically the missing receipts for when identify the transactions that do not have that corresponding receipts. So removing the need to manually search for what's missing. It's called JAX document chasing, currently in beta, going live in September, October. It will identify the missing receipts. It will create an email for your client. And once you approve, it will send it directly to the client from Xero. All in one place and all in your control. So clean data, it's not just capture the documents anymore. It's get the document in once, review it early, keep the record clean, and make the next steps in workflow easier. That is how you reduce the data debt before it spreads through to the rest of the ledger. And with document chasing built into the system, it doesn't just wait for documents to arrive, it asks for them. So moving on to the next part of the blueprint, connected work. Because clean data on its own is helpful, but it's not enough anymore. If a document gets captured nicely, but then the next step lives in somebody's memory, on the side list, or in completely different workflow, the practice still feels harder than it should. Connected work is what happens when that data does not just arrive cleanly, it starts moving. So let's first talk about what a disconnected workflow actually looks like. You might recognize some of those in your practice. It is fragmented. Documents are scattered everywhere, the ledger feels chaotic, bank activity is separate from the reconciliation, and the next steps are unclear. Worst of all, critical knowledge is trapped in someone's head rather than shared across the team. This is the shift we need to make. Moving away from having documents, ledgers, and follow-ups in a separate silos to one connected, seamless workflow where everything moves together. Like this. Clean source data allows Xero to do more of the heavy lifting before you even open laptop on Monday morning. The connected work continues through to the bank activity and reconciliation and gives you clear next steps. Not to mention, knowledge is shared right through the workflow, not kept in someone's head. So you might ask, how do we move from disconnected workflow to connected one? So if we think about it in terms of invoicing, in a traditional disconnected workflow, getting paid is often a reactive mess. It relies on someone's remembering to check the spreadsheet, making manual follow-up calls, or hoping the email didn't get buried. It's fragmented, and frankly, it takes up too much of your and your client day. The connected workflow changes the game. When you raise an invoice in Xero, the work does not stop there. It actually begins. Jack's follow-ups feature, also currently in beta, takes over the heavy lifting of accounts receivable. It monitors the status of that invoice in real time, building a personalized, timely reminder plan for that specific client based on their payment habits. You aren't writing those emails, and you aren't manually tracking the due dates. Jax ensures nothing falls through the cracks and removes the reliance on human memory. You get the benefit of proactive system that works while you focus on a higher value work. It's one seamless loop. The invoice goes out, the reminder is sent, and the cash comes in. And if you're already using payment solution on Xero, you know that cash will come in twice faster. All with zero manual intervention. However, you are still in control of the whole process. So that is part 2 of the blueprint, making sure your work keeps moving. Less bouncing between the tools, less side list bookkeeping, records stay current as work happens, like invoices getting chased automatically, and less month-end catch-ups as your team isn't having to remember to follow up. Okay, so time to bring you to the final part of the blueprint, smart automation, which lovely connects to the connected work. This is where we stop asking talented people to spend so much time on doing the obvious, and instead we let the routine move through while the human stays focused on review, exceptions, and judgment. Jack's automatic bank reconciliation brings precision to the process. With 96% accuracy across automated transactions, it doesn't just do the work behind the scenes, it shows you its work. Every automated action is traceable, whether it's a match, a stored memory, a pattern prediction, or a rule. You stay in control. Jax learns from you, and your clients get the accuracy they expect without the manual reconciliation headache. And that is the point, not to know human, but rather the right human attention in the right place. Accountable intelligence. Jax doesn't just do the work, it shows you how it did. Every reconciliation has a reason attached. Every automated action has a visible trail. That's not just a good AI. That's AI your clients trust, your practice can stand behind, and that gives you a clear trail of what happened and why. Another impressive stat, our goal is for Jax to work behind the scenes to automatically reconcile more than 65% of your client statement lines in real time. And the data backs it up. Customers using automated reconciliation spend half the time in bank reconciliation as they did earlier. And let's not forget, Jax is learning from you. Jax is learning on the historical data that has been reconciled by you and then makes the judgment. So that is the blueprint: clean data in, faster workflows through, more time back for the work only you can do. So let's just recap. Smart document capture gets the data in cleanly. Document chasing keeps your inbox full without the manual effort. Payment chasing, make sure you actually get paid and your client. And auto bank reconciliation moves the routine through. We are not saying AI removes the need for your expertise. We are not saying review goes away. And we are definitely not saying that there's one magical tool that will fix all the bookkeeping problems. What we are saying is this: the simple, repetitive work can increasingly be handled for you, so your times go where it adds the most value. But AI in Xero doesn't stop there. It extends naturally into reporting tools available to your practice. So we have talked a lot about the blueprint, but it is important to remember why we are doing this. It's not just to tidy up the books. It is to unlock the real value of the data. When you have a clean, connected workflow, you are no longer spending your time chasing receipts or reconciling the past. Instead, you have a space to move from just recording history to creating the future. By using the analytic tools, the clean real-time data becomes actionable insights. You can show your clients exactly where the business stands, forecast where they are going, and offer the kind of advice that genuinely helps them grow. And that is the ultimate goal. When your clients grow the business because of the insights you provide and become more successful and stable and more profitable. And as you deepen the advisory relationship, you essentially grow your own practice alongside them. You move from being the person who just keeps the books to being the partner who drives their growth. And to help you achieve that, we have Xero Analytics, a module that already exists within Xero subscriptions. It puts clients at the center of the conversation with live dashboards, business health scores, short-term cash flow forecasting, and AI-supported insights built directly into Xero. You can help clients clearly see what's working, spot risks earlier, and make smarter decisions faster. AI plays an important supporting role by helping identifying trends, flag potential issues, and surface insights that might otherwise be missed. This means you and your team can spend less time just explaining the numbers and more time guiding clients on what to do next. And for the clients looking to understand where their business could be in 3 to 5 years' time, Syft Analytics is the perfect tool. We've acquired this powerful platform to help partners like you simplify reporting, surface deep insights, and engage in more strategic conversations. Syft with AI means less time on manual analysis and meeting prep, and more time on advice that grows your practice. AI does the heavy lifting, summarizing performance, spotting outliers, and explaining the insights. So you can walk into every client conversation already knowing the story the numbers are telling. It scales your advisory offering without scaling your workload, helping you at the same time serve more clients, have more strategic conversation, and set your practice apart in a crowded market. Syft Analytics enables a window into the past with smart reporting, the ability to review and adjust the present with deep dives into operational data like customers, products, suppliers, and then provides the opportunity to peer through the magnifying glass at what the future could hold with its forecasting capabilities. One of my favorite features on Syft when I used it in practice was the possibility to run different scenarios for the clients. What will happen if this would you will do, or this scenario? And we could run those two scenarios and see the outcome and compare and decide what's the best way to move forward. And on a separate note, please remember that Syft Analytics, it is included in all your Xero subscriptions for free from Grow upwards. So where do we go from here? If you haven't tried yet smart data capture or automatic bank reconciliation, I would challenge you to start with a low-risk test accounts or your internal organization and run it for a month. See how it works. If you're already producing management reports for your clients, unlock the Syft and let the magic happen. If you have any questions and you're on a partner program, please speak to your account manager. However, my email is here as well. Reach out. I'm more than happy to help. And here's the most important thing I want you to take away from today. AI in Xero isn't there to make financial decisions for you. It's there to help you move faster with trusted context and with you still in control. Thank you very much. I'm open to questions if there are any.
Okay, Anna, that was absolutely brilliant. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
So, and I didn't realize why it was called Jack. So I've just looked this up while you were talking. So it's just Ask Xero.
Correct. Sorry, I should have mentioned that. Sometimes I assume.
No, not important. That was great. There are a couple of questions, but I am just going to ask you, Anna, can you just reply to those in the chat because I'm just conscious of time to move on.
Yeah.
But and for me, my big takeaway there was also that it's a closed system because that what concerns me around the edge. So and I know I have spoken to people at Xero as well as yourself, so that was my biggest barrier to. But no, I understand the security around that. So no, it's a fabulous tool, and again, it's here to support us grow our businesses rather than replace us.
Correct.
I want to make that message clear.
Totally. Thank you.
And I'll let you answer those. There's a few questions, but I'll let you answer in the chat. So thank you. So moving on to Anne Storr. I can't see you, Anne, but there you are. So Anne is a founder of Fables Agency and helps businesses build businesses. And I'm going to start again. So Anne is a founder of Fables Agency and helps businesses to build, finding the words that bringing your brand to life. Anne is a business transformation expert using brand and tone of voice to help companies grow. She creates brand identity, content design, strategy, digital communications, illustrations, and book projects for a wide range of professional services, firms, and accountants. Working at C-suite and board level, she tells bold stories that cut through and deliver commercial results. She's been featured on BBC Radio 4 and the BBC and spoken at Open University, Albright and Soho House. So, Anna, over to you.
Hi, everybody. Thank you so much for having me today. And these, as Damien was saying, these incredible numbers. So I'm really, really grateful for your time, and I will intend to make the most of your minutes. I do speak a little quickly, so I hope that's okay. But obviously, I can share a copy of the presentation if that's helpful with the IAB, and there is a handout at the end as well. So I will attempt to be both quick, but not too quick. Hands up for all the ADHDers in the audience. Right, let me just share my screen. Always the worst bit of any presentation, isn't it? Okay, so can you see a big blue screen, but not a screen of death?
Yes, but do you want to... We've got your notes on here as well, Anne. So
Is it? All right, thank you. Let's try again. Why is it being... It's this one. And now Canva has decided to have a little upset with me.
That's right.
It's always the way, isn't it?
I know my computer was having an update just before we started, and I was panicking, thinking, no, please finish before the coffee morning stuff.
Wait. Right, we practiced this bit. You wouldn't believe it, would you? Right. Share. There we go. There we go. And I know I just need to do full screen mode, but you have to do
There
it
you go.
all in a
You're right.
sequence. Thank you for your patience. It's better than the one time that Zoom crashed out halfway through a talk. That was a vibe. Anyway, so again, thank you so much to IAB for having me and for Brady, particularly for listening to my little pitch. So I hope that today is useful. I know that all accountancy firms are investing, as Anna is saying, in generative AI. But I also know from having gone to Fab Accounting and Accountex that every single social media and brand presentation and practice management talk was absolutely stacked. So that's why I'm here, is to give you the practical advice and tips that you need to take your next steps. So the title of my talk is The Commercial Potential of Language in the Modern Marketplace. Or you could say it's how to sound like yourself and charge higher rates. So before we go on, hopefully you've got a little bit of piece of paper or a diary or even your phone. And I'd really like you just to sit for a few seconds and think about how both of those titles, how you felt. How did you feel when you heard the first title? Did you think you were going to have an exciting, how many minutes have we got? Crikey, 16 minutes. Or did you think, oh, this is going to be a little bit dry? Is it going to be very formal? And then how maybe did your emotions change with the different title? This, in essence, is what we're here to talk about today, which is brand and tone of voice and its potential. So here's a little about me with a felt puppet of the late, great Rob Dog. So I work in brand, and what I have done is I work with a lot of professional services companies. And in particular, I love working with SMEs. You've built something yourself. You're not looking for investment for a pipe dream. You're looking for, you've built your business. And for example, an accountancy firm that I have been working with for the past 12 months, I have just helped them increase their average deal size. They've just got their first massive deal, which is an increase in 60%, and that's an ARR deal as well. So that's going to radically change their finances. And we're now operating on 2 continents. So they know that their investment in brand is helping them to reach a significantly higher decision-making tier and a bigger range of businesses because they've got the brand to back up the brilliance of what they already do. Again, sorry about the speed, but I thought I had a little bit more time. So we're going to really quickly go through a really quick 101 on what is brand, because I appreciate that I'm coming to you from a really different specialism, how it can help you increase your prices, how you can maybe work with fewer clients, but a higher revenue point, how it can potentially protect your business from generative AI and agentic competitors, and can you just use generative AI to build a really cheap brand? So essentially, brand is more than words. Let's just take the really simple example of ibuprofen. So ibuprofen is a chemical compound, and it works by sending a message to your brain's pain receptors that says, chill out, which obviously is a scientific process, and I hope you use it to talk to your doctor. That in turn enables your body to reduce its understanding of pain and potentially after 48 hours inflammation. The price of this compound is no different whether or not you buy the 35p ibuprofen from Asda's like I do, or you buy the Nurofen, which is £1.88. The reason why you might purchase Nurofen is that the brand helps you to think it's targeted, it's going to work better, it's going to work more effectively. They've got all these other different products. So, I might not buy the £3.55 Nurofen, but maybe the £1.88 Nurofen is better. This is all brand. There is no difference between the efficacy of a 35p and a £1.88. So this is how one of the ways that brand exists in our marketplace, in our world. And what I would, no, we don't have time to do this. So basically, brand is not, one of the experts in branding, Martin Neumeier, said that brand is not what you say it is what they say it is. And this is what we need to understand, is that even if you're sitting there and you're thinking, I don't have a brand, my business doesn't have a brand, we've never needed to invest in it. The fact that you are in business and you are going to events and that you have clients and the clients talk about you, that is your brand. Your brand is an articulation of how you show up, of the work that you do, of the elevation of the services that you deliver. It is not a logo. It is not some colors. Brand is when somebody such as me or somebody else sits with you and helps you to understand the individuality of your business and how that connects with the marketplace to drive drive retail, and to drive acquisition. Sorry, with the autism, sometimes I just get lost in a sentence, so do bear with me. I know what I'm talking about. It's just neurodivergence in action. And tone of voice, again, in case you don't understand what this concept is, I'm sure you've all heard of Oatly milk, and I'm sure many of you enjoy it in your coffee. But what you may not know is that before 2012, Oatly had a very, very different brand and tone of voice. You can see it here with these quite ugly containers and this very whoops-a-daisy old-fashioned packaging. And basically, they realized through market research that what they wanted to do, obviously wanted to grow the business. They understood that as soon as people tried the product, they loved it. So what they needed to do was get the product off the shelf and into people's hands. So this led to the Oatly that you know and love or hate, as the case may be today. So they made the packaging, they made a different shape box, but they also made it fun. They understood that people wanted to have a curiosity. They know that people sit and eat a bowl of cereal. So every single side, every single part of the Oatly box is covered in words. And the voice is very, very different. When it was released, it was completely and utterly different from any other brand that was out there. And after the rebrand, it was responsible for 100% post rebrand growth. And in 2022, which were the last figures that I could find, they boasted 64.3 643. Sorry, you can tell I'm not a numbers person. Sorry, all accountants and bookkeepers in revenue. And the brand has grown 700% in its category. And it's still a force, even against all the other incumbents, still against Outpros, still against minor figures. So this is really how brand can make a massive difference on your business. Marketing, just really quickly, because again, I know this can be a difficult thing to understand. Marketing is the management process responsible for identifying, anticipating, and satisfying customer requirements profitably. So brand is how you decide what's going to go on the box, what you believe, you've done the market research, what you understand to be true about how to be effective. Marketing is like, oh, do we try to get on the end of the aisle at Sainsbury's in this quarter? That's the difference. So brand is perception and emotion, and marketing is ways of putting things in front of people and persuading them to buy. Tone of voice is articulating the brand through words to create an emotional connection with the audience. And in the accountancy and bookkeeping world, you would be using your voice across anything of your brand, across your practice management, across your website, HR, job ads, marketing. It should seed through everything. So every time somebody gets in touch with you, every time somebody sees one of your Google ads, or every time somebody sees a LinkedIn post from yourself or one of your colleagues, there's a resonance that helps people to understand it's coming from the same place, that there is continuity, that there is authority, rather than it being disjointed, which can create a cognitive dissonance, which is not what you want in the buying process. So this is a piece of AI copy that I generated, sort of saying, write me a short paragraph about an accountancy firm with 5 people generating £100,000 in kind of profit each year. And it's kind of, again, I would ask you to go through it, but we don't really have the time. But say after a voice, what you can see is that we're changing it. We're becoming more specific. So this voice is maybe something around building relationships. Your relationship with your accountant should be more than the odd check-in or a November email wondering about year end. And so what we're doing is we're bringing in, and this is what a lot of firms do it wrong, is they talk about what we do. You never talk about what we do. You talk about what your customer needs, what the audience needs. So an accountant should offer you things. They should offer you growth. They should offer you so many services. So it's really trying to warm up the copy and build that relationship. But how can brand help you to increase your prices? Well, there's a concept, again, I'm so sorry about the pace of this. There's a concept in the brand world called brand equity. And I'm sure that you all understand what the word equity means. And again, we can see here the ibuprofen examples. We can see it in toilet paper and in the petit pois. Now, going back, brand equity is an invisible asset that has the potential to boost your profits and increase your margins. So when customers attach a level of quality or prestige to a brand, they perceive that brand's products as being worth more than products made by competitors. And that means that they're willing to pay more. So every time you're willing to pay more for your ibuprofen or your Andrex or your Bird's Eye, you believe that these products are truly better than the own brand. Sometimes they are. I love Heinz ketchup. However, sometimes they're not. It's really about that emotional connection. So for example, with ibuprofen, that is, and I'm so nervous about talking about numbers in front of you all, ibuprofen, I believe, is a 437% price increase from the generic to the branded. The toilet paper is 28%, and the Petit Pois, I prefer a Petit Pois to a P, is 160%. That is pure brand. There is very, very little that is going to be different about how those peas are farmed, harvested, moved, packaged. Well, packaged, yes, but the actual quality potentially of that plastic. So brand equity has a direct effect on the sales of a company, because customers will gravitate towards products that have a great reputation, or they come from companies with a great reputation. And this is part of the reason why it's so important for companies such as yourselves, particularly in a world of generative AI, as Anna was talking about, and also as Damien was saying, they get great awards entries, but they sound exactly the same because someone's just prompting AI. They're not doing that work themselves. They don't have that tone of voice. And that kind of action can actually damage your brand equity, but we'll go on to that in a minute. But in the world of branding, the intangible assets of a company can account for 84% of their market cap. And brands with a really, really strong brand can increase their portfolio value by 100, well, almost 125%. So, right, basically, sorry, I'm just worrying a little bit about time. You can see here that the effect on price can be absolutely massive when, we're looking at the minimum and maximum price that people might charge for a self-assessment. But if you can imagine a firm that has a £50,000 revenue, they might build that through doing one-off self-assessments for people. That means you have to have a high volume of customers with quite a low billable rate. Even when you're using great automated tools, it can be really, really difficult to actually get that revenue up. But if you can move your business and transform your business into one where you have more advisory relationships, you can see that you can get the same amount of revenue. You can get the same overall revenue from fewer customers, and those are going to be stronger relationships because you will have the brand equity, you will have that trusted advisor relationship, and you will get all this in your handout if you choose to download it. But this is, the ways that you can today go away and measure your brand equity, so you can understand for yourself without paying anybody the equity that you already have in your business, so you know where's really strong and where isn't. And of course, I can imagine you're all sitting there going, well, can't I just use AI? It's only words. Well, if you want to move to this position of being like a kind of like luxury, like a trusted advisor, it's not just a transaction. Well, actually, research is finding that an increase from 44% last year, now up to 55%, if people who are wanting to purchase any kind of luxury goods see and know that AI is being used for creative, it's got a 55% rejection rate, because it is signaling a company that is trying to increase revenue without investing and without bothering to do the work. So it is absolutely damaging. It can be in terms of creative. And AI does skew for like high emotions. So that can be great. But if you don't know what you're doing, if you haven't invested in a good brand and you're just kind of like putting some prompts in like Kermit on a keyboard, then you risk having really high levels of rejection and instilling negative emotions around your brand, which is quite clearly what you want to avoid. And you can see that AI, like, unless, you cannot, starting that sentence again, if you want to elevate your offering, you cannot sound the same as everybody else. You can see that when AI is being used poorly, it is absolutely damaging people's brands. And finally, a lot of people, when we understand that people haven't bothered to take the time to create something new, to understand what their business is, we are not bothering to read it. Consumers are increasingly rejecting companies because it's like, well, why would I bother? If you can't be bothered to spend the time to create it, why would I bother spending the time to engage with it? Again, when you're running numbers, when you're pulling down reports and you're fact checking them, of course, absolutely, it's a tool. I'm not here to tell you to not use it at all. But if you're trying to build the part of your business that's actually going to be defendable in the long term, it's not going to work. So you can get the handout for this obviously afterwards, but there are really quick, simple and cheap, well, literally free ways, apart from your time, which obviously is a cost, that you can start finding your business's voice today. So again, you can get these in your handout. So you can literally just use something like Otter or Fathom, record yourself talking about your business. Find those words that you're really using, because nobody says seamless or leveraging outside of B2B SaaS marketing. Use simple and specific words. Don't use jargon. Nobody uses it. Maybe it's quite heavy in America, but use words that people use every single day, because that is conversational, and conversation connects people rather than being lectured to. And read all of your copy out loud to yourself. It is the most simple lesson. You maybe were told it at school, but it's one that all writers use, because if you can't read a sentence without taking a breath, nobody can read it in your heads. And most of your words, your brand, your reports, your LinkedIn posts, everything that you're doing, your Google ads will be read in people's heads. So please read your work out loud to yourself. Again, we don't really have time to do it, but I can't. You can get the slides afterwards, but basically I've just got 3 examples of how, we can take the same AI copy and how I've rewritten it, sometimes with rhythmic, sometimes with talking about language, different ways where the same piece of copy can be rewritten by an expert writer that can help you to communicate the different value that you bring to your audience. So if you want, and I'm so sorry, I'm like, if you want to get your guide to downloading, to start finding your unique voice, you can just scan this little Google QR code here. It will take you to a landing page, which will give you a 3-page handout. It's got 6 exercises with absolutely everything that I think will get you going and will take you a lot further in finding your tone of voice and improving the copy that is on your website or within your practice management, and you can start doing that for absolutely free. And I think, so I'm just going to leave that one on there. You can find me on LinkedIn. I'm the literal only Anne Store on there. Thank you very much. I'm going to have a glass of water.
And thank you so much, and apologies for having a shorter spot to speak, but I think you've done an amazing job there, whistle stop tour. Yeah, absolutely brilliant. But please, everyone, take a photograph of that while we've got it up on the screen. I think that's really interesting, and so timely in this. We all want to use AI to support us, but like you say, it can't. It's there to support, not replace. So
And that's what Anna was saying, right? It's
yeah.
understanding where to use it so people can create a tone of voice and then they can maybe use it. But to actually do that central piece of work, you wouldn't do a big financial piece of work without any human interaction. The same is true for brand.
Exactly. No, really, really good. So there's a lot of love on the screen for you there as well.
Thank you.
So thank you to all our speakers today. That's been really, really interesting. We are at 12 o'clock, so I'm going to have to close. But thank you so much. Really good to see everyone again, and see you next month on the next coffee morning. Take care. Bye.